First of all, I just want to say thank you for clicking on this video because I know time is money and time is extremely valuable, and that's what we're going to be covering today. My name is Chris. I am going to be doing a reaction style video to some TikToks that I was looking at. I am going to be just on this channel reviewing everything to do with money, finances, wealth. It could also be me taking journeys with like trying things like trading, and then some feedback or reaction to some of these videos that we're going to watch together that I found on TikTok that were extremely interesting. And it really gives a pulse of kind of what's going on for a lot of people out here. And by no means am I like a financial advisor. Do I work in corporate, in the business sector? Yes. But I am on a growth journey myself. Have I done well for myself? Yes. Do I proclaim to be a multi-millionaire? Not yet, but I am getting there. So I want to continue to build my stamina with this. So I figured, why not start a YouTube channel? Why not start to record my journey? Like I said, I could even be potentially showing you me trading in the future. I have been getting into this. I have learned how to pick stocks. I have learned how to paper trade, made a little bit of money, but I want to dive into all of that stuff. So let's get into the first TikTok here that I ended up stumbling upon.
$5,487.73 worth of debt, and I want to talk about it. Up until 24 hours ago, I did not know that was actually the total of all of my debt, credit cards, and student loans. That number also does not include my auto loan, and if we are adding in my auto loan, the total number is $110,938.83. Since totaling up all of my debt, I don't think I've actually gotten one good breath of oxygen in the last 24 hours. I feel like there is an elephant sitting on my chest, and I don't think I can sit still because all I keep repeating is $95,487.73. All of this debt was racked up through decisions I made between the ages of 18 and 26. My first associate's degree I got from a community college, and I didn't have to pay for it because of the Pell Grant, but I decided to go to a university and got my bachelor's degree, which is where I really started to rack up the debt. Then in the last 2 years, I decided to finish a nursing degree at a community college in the last 2 years, but that's where I started to rack up even more debt. What really sucks is realizing that the majority of these student loans is not from tuition. It's actually from living expenses and living way above my means. My debt comprises of 2 credit cards, 5 federal student loans, and 5 private Sallie Mae loans. I can handle the federal student loans, but when I tell you Sallie Mae is bending me over and not in a way I like, it's actually insane. Sallie Mae is genuinely evil, and they prey on young students. And the reason why they take advantage of young students is because they know if you're reaching out to a private loan like that, you genuinely need it. Out of the 5 Sallie Mae loans I have, one of the interest rates that is the highest is 16.28%. The lowest interest rate I have with Sallie Mae is 9.88%. Now, my federal student loans are between 4 and 6%, which I think is manageable. Although I had parents who would tell me what I should or shouldn't do, I never had anybody really sit me down and fully teach me financial literacy. I never had anybody sit me down and really explain to me the scope of what I was doing and what it would look like in the future when I had to pay for it. In the moment, all of the student loans just felt like fake money because they just kept coming and I just kept spending. I don't regret any of the experiences I've had between the ages of 18 and 26 or any of the things that I've done, but I do wish that I managed my finances way better than this. I think what's even more sad is a lot of these student loans were going to rent, which my rent was around $1,200 a month, and that's been consistent over the last 2-3 years. Thankfully, I do have a finance bro as a boyfriend, and he is really great at managing money and managing wealth, and so I am working with him to do a snowball effect. If I snowball all of my...
So this was jaw-dropping, especially the numbers that she was kind of rattling off about the loan, upwards of $100K in loans just coming out of college. Now, I am an optimist. You're not going to hear me take a crap on anybody here, and I will probably lightly blur people's faces because I am not attempting to try to make anybody look bad. What we're trying to do here is listen to the conversation and then recognize what maybe could be done different, or how we could have consolidated some of that debt. So for example, I'm just going to give you what I ended up doing. I lived at home. So I did not incur a $1,200 a month debt. when it came to living on a campus or when it came to renting an apartment or what have you. So I completely bypass that, and I guarantee that that would wipe a lot of money off, because if you look at just the pure math of it, it is 1200 times 12, and then multiply that by the amount of years that she was going to college. That's how much in debt she could be from just living expenses alone, when she could have potentially just lived at home. But like, I totally get it. It's the whole thing. It's an experience, and with her nursing degree, she will be able to pay that back. Like she said, she has a finance bro boyfriend, and I'm sure he will help her consolidate all her loans, which she does talk about at the end of this TikTok. And that is a great idea. She will have to pay a lot of money in the next like 5 years. I think she said 5 or 6 years. I think it was like 30. Let me play that part.
And so I am working with him to do a snowball effect. If I snowball all of my loans at the current rates that they are without consolidating them, I can pay all of this off by 2032.
Okay.
It's really sad because I'm excited.
So by 2032. So she just kind of has to slowly pay that off and focus on whatever she can to earn the maximum amount of money while she can. And if I was her, I would definitely put my work into a place 1 or 2 years. I've done this plenty of times, and then move on to better paying jobs, better positions, essentially form other avenues that you can make money, and then save. I'm always going to talk about saving, because that is one thing I have consistently done throughout my life. And saving has borne me many, many fruits. So there's different ways to save. You don't want to just let it sit in a bank account. I have for some time, and it's not always like the best thing. I do have them in like higher earning interest accounts, but even that, I feel like now that I start to learn more and more, you should be trying to get them into investment accounts, different bank accounts set up. I'll never forget, back in the day, I was watching Dave Chappelle, and I can't remember who from the Wu-Tang Clan was on there. And he said, I think it was RZA, or it was the RZA and the Jizza, I think. And he said, diversify your bonds. And back in the day, I wasn't really 100% sure what that meant, but now I completely know what it means. And you definitely want to have money in all different areas where you could be potentially earning more and more, and then it's not just sitting there stagnant. So I will be repeating that over and over, and discovering myself more and more ways, and having videos talking about the ways that I have been diversifying my bonds, so I can continue to train my reticular activating system, only make me neurologically follow the pattern of money and wealth even more and more. So make sure to hit a subscribe and like for that, so you can build your neurons on here too. We're not just on here critiquing people on TikTok for funsies. We're learning, we're growing, we're understanding that there's other avenues to take. And then on top of that, maybe going to a college that isn't so expensive. She did say that she did go to a local college, which I understand, but it seems like there was maybe some other unnecessary spending. And when you're going to live off campus, food can get really expensive. And I don't know what type of lifestyle she was living. Was she eating ramen every night? It didn't seem like that was the case. So it's just really thinking about what kind of debt you want to walk away from your college experience with, and what you feel comfortable with. And it isn't funny money, like she said. I know sometimes with the loans, because they end up giving them to you, they are considered sometimes predatory loans, or if you get other people to sign for you, it just kind of gets into this muddy place where it's best off to really steer clear of high interest loans. Like you heard her talking about, some of those loan figures are so high. And if you accrue lots of money in debt to these different organizations, that starts to compound very, very quickly. So just take into consideration what you realistically want to put on a loan and how you would be then prepared to pay it back. This is just one of those things that you need to learn earlier in life. And always, I got lucky because I didn't have like these crazy aspirations to go to this like out of state college that was like 40 grand a year. I went in state, I stayed home, I commuted every single day. And sometimes I would stay with friends on campus. Like I would do like cheap stuff. Like I would hang out with friends and like I would have boyfriends and they would buy me dinner. Like it would just be like all different kinds of ways that I would save money. And then I also worked at the Temple bookstore, and that would give me really deep discounts on all of my books. So there's different ways that you can do these things. And then I am somebody who does think that if you do keep your eye on the prize, if you have your goals and you have all of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, actions, etc., geared towards that thing, you will shift into that specific reality. I do believe in that kind of stuff. I know that can start to sound a little bit woo, but let's go on to the next one here because that was extremely interesting and something earlier on in life that again, I even wish I could have did things different. I could have saved more in college, or I could have utilized more in college, but it's almost like one of those things where you get into partying, and that was one of the things that I did when I was younger that I really wish that I didn't do. So like I don't know if she was also partying and drinking and spending money that way. So just all things to think about if you are young and on your journey and starting to think about going to college and then putting out money for loans. Okay, so here is the next one. I feel really bad for this girl. Like sometimes I see these TikToks and it breaks my heart, and I feel that this one of these people motivate you or inspire you. You can always throw them a few coins via probably likes or views on the TikToks, because I'm sure all of these creators have like a decent amount of followers and or will or are procuring money from views already.
Of Dollar Tree because I'm about to go in there and get some essentials. But before that, I honestly just had like the only crash out because I had stopped to get gas, right? And I'm really in a place in my life where I'm really budgeting my finances because I just don't got it like that. I'm in a real crunch, survival, financial fucking rut. And I know it's not forever, but this is just the chapter I'm in. And as much as I try to be positive sometimes, like it's really hard. It's really hard to be in a financial like survival mode when you don't know what your next move is. You don't know where your next resource is coming from because it fucking makes you hypervigilant. And like when you're hypervigilant, like you can't relax, your brain can't shut off, and you can't stop worrying. And that shit just drains all your energy. Like having to worry all the time drains your energy. And I understand that like people are like, oh, pray, pray, pray. And don't get me wrong, I pray. But when I'm about to take a shit and I don't know when the next fucking slice of paper toilet is coming from, like, that's real life 3D shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like it's a really difficult place to be in. And so with that being said, I had $25 in like my Apple Cash card. And so I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna go to the gas station. I'm gonna get $15.
See this girl here, you can see me scrolling through the comments. Hopefully you saw them on the last one. This is just to go to show all of the folks that are kind of agreeing with this and saying like, this isn't normal. It's not normal to live in fight or flight. Living in fight or flight puts your nervous system at just such an imbalance. And if you go deeply into the science of wealth or the science of money, in my beliefs and opinions, it really starts boiling down to the brain waves and the heart and mind coherence that you're able to sustain in your body. And that really ends up being that theta alpha brainwave. And that really comes with a more relaxed state of mind. It's not frantic. That's more associated with that like beta, super awake, super could be frantic type of thing. And it's really difficult. So when you're in fight or flight, your brain waves are not in that relaxed theta alpha type of state. You are in those just chaotic brain waves. And if you are not feeling good, your body could not be in coherence and you are not making decisions that would be for your benefit all the time. You would be making decisions maybe that are subconsciously pushing you away from your goals because you are scared. You might be scared of certain situations arising from making money or losing money. It can go both ways. So it's really good to visit your money patterns and identify, like, for example, if you go to the store and you're feeling like you can't get something because it's too expensive, kind of evaluate why it's too expensive. Like, dig into the feelings. Is it because you just don't like to pay over a certain amount of money for certain things? Is it because you had a mom or a dad that was always telling you that you had to use coupons? Was it because you didn't think that you should purchase certain things for yourself? There's so many different beliefs about money that can be rooted in traumas from when we were younger or from just growing up in different environments. So it's really important to revisit these things, understand why you feel certain heavy things like money is the root of all evil, that kind of thing. We want to see what we feel deep down inside about money and then try to grow money from a non-scarcity mindset. You can obviously make money in fight or flight. People do this all day. I'm just saying, I think the best decisions are made in those higher states of brainwaves that you can achieve, and you can bounce back from any type of issues. Like, you don't react to things very easily, and you can easily bounce back into being calm and in that frequency where you're thinking clearly about the next decision for your wealth status, if you will.
$15 of gas, and then the rest, like, I'm gonna take to get like a little bit of essentials at Dollar Tree. And when I asked him for 15 regular, he had put gas in my car and it charged my whole shit. And I just stood there because I'm not trying to crash out in front of this man, but I'm like, fuck. Like, I literally don't have anything else. Like, my regular account is negative. Like, fuck. I have no toilet tissue. I have no, like, I need stuff for the house. Like, I don't have water. Like, I don't, oh my God. So he was like, oh, like, it charges you temporarily, like, it's gonna refund you. So I literally drove off and I parked on this random street.
Yeah, no, she's definitely not one of one. There's many people going through this. I was reading some of the comments as well. Some people would talk about stories where they were hard up or whatever, and they would be walking into a supermarket and somebody would just be like, here's $50. I think you need this. And like, really cool things like that end up happening to people. They find like $100 on the floor, like whatever may have you. So there's different ways that people can kind of finagle their way around. I do believe that the universe will work in your favor, especially if you always believe that you will be okay. But I think that it can degrade your mental health, because what happens is that you get into these looped habitual ways of thinking. And if you think negatively about money, you will ingrain these neural pathways and you will keep basically riding down the same pathways, and that will point you away from your wealthiest timeline, if you will. That's going to point you away from making those money moves or those money decisions sometimes that will elevate you to the next level, or you are failing to see opportunities that would double, triple, quadruple your income. I'm guilty of this. I'm sure there are plenty of opportunities that I am not now currently seeing, but as I continue to tune myself, I will start to see more and more opportunities to do such things. Like, for example, the trading scenario. I know that there is a capability, if I learn to focus and pour dedication into this avenue and visit it in these micro steps every day and continuously do this and persist, I will eventually learn and I will make more and more money. I have already earned money in different ways from different accounts already. So I know I'm capable of doing so. I have purchased stocks, I have purchased crypto. I just have not dove into something like day trading, for example. I feel bad for this young lady, but on the bright side, she is in some sort of higher education, and she, like the nurse, will be able to get out of this and make her way through this situation and come out triumphantly and pay her way off, especially if she does something like the other young lady did, where she snowballs any debt that she has and she goes into it with a financial plan and just slowly pays that off on the side while she tries to live her very best life, right? Because that's what you're doing going to school. You're trying to build a life that you really want to do. And that's what I would caution everybody to think about. Go to school or do whatever it is that you want to do, but do it with the intention that you would want to visit this, that this is something that you could see yourself doing long term. Don't just do it because mom or dad told you to do it. Really sit with yourself and find out which path you would want to go down. Because even myself, I probably would have changed the trajectory of what I was doing. If I was to go to school today, I would not have gone for what I went for. I did get my degree in criminal justice, but I probably would have gone for something like research or down like a different just avenue in general.
People talking about going into foreclosure, eviction notices, living paycheck to paycheck, and same. Yep, we are living paycheck to paycheck. And I got to think, I remember 14 years ago when my daughter was born, I had no money pretty much. I mean, I was working as a waitress, I was young, I was a freshman in college, thinking if I made this much money, I would be living stress-free. I do make that much money now. In fact, I make more money than that. I make good money. My husband makes good money. And we are living paycheck to paycheck. Just over the last 5 years, our car insurance has doubled, almost tripled, and no, we don't have any new tickets, no car accidents, nothing. Our phone bill has doubled, and I've paid off pretty much all of our phones. Still keeps going up. Our mortgage has gone up $600, $700 since we bought our house 5 years ago, just from an increase in homeowners insurance and property taxes. Our medical insurance has gone up. More money is being taken out of our paychecks or whatever. Grocery bills, can't even fathom how much more it's gone up. At least $600 a month. Like, this blows my mind. Like, we worked our way from the bottom to have like these really nice careers, thinking like, oh, this is it, like we finally made it, and we are still living paycheck to paycheck, like, and barely making it, literally stressing out about finances all the time. If this was 20 years ago, we probably would have been considered upper class, or I know we would have been considered upper class, and now we are literally barely hanging on. Like, it blows my mind, and I don't understand how this is okay in any way.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it seems like a lot of people are having these types of issues. I've even seen like influencers saying that they're going into debt because they're purchasing all kinds of things that they can't keep up with. Or I even heard one young lady, I think her mortgage was like $17,000 a month or something like that. And I guess that sounds kind of crazy when you are not a multi-millionaire bringing in tons of money all the time, because a $17,000 a month mortgage every single month, for me right now, that sounds kind of crazy. But if I was ever a multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever you want to say, that wouldn't seem so out of control. But if you can't pay it, it starts to feel overwhelming at that height, because it's one thing if you have a $2,000 mortgage that you're struggling to pay, but if you have a $17,000 mortgage and you cannot bring that kind of money in consistently, and you have to pay that month after month, and that will not end for who knows how many years, that can feel overwhelming if you purchase something, especially before you're ready. Like, it's one thing if you're a multimillionaire and you took the money and bought the money cash, that's one thing. But if you did not, if you just had enough, like say for example, you got $1 million or like 2 million, and then you ended up buying this house that was like 3 million, and you can't then bring in millions and millions consistently, that can start to feel overwhelming. So I don't know what their situation is, but she was even saying her rent was going up. I don't know how much her mortgage is per month, but what ends up happening is your taxes go up. Just different inflations around your mortgage, and you end up paying more and more consistently throughout the years, depending on especially how much you have to put into your escrow. So I just think that it's a situation that we have to be savvy with our money. We have to put it in savings in these different areas that can earn us money, these different investments. We need to look this up for ourselves and go with the ones that feel like the less risk for ourselves, but nonetheless do something where you're either saving or you're proactively working towards some sort of financial goal for yourself, so you don't feel like you're ending up in situations like this. And then you are really highly planning out how much money you want to put out into things like a home, like a car, and then like all the things inside. And just from a standpoint of even too much money spending on like groceries and ordering out and food, because I'm guilty of this myself. I would like to declutter even more of my home because it becomes an overconsumption trap, if you will. And I'll probably cover some of those TikToks as well. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Some helpful tips and tricks for how to look at money a little bit differently and just see how a lot of different things are going on in the rest of the country and how people are feeling about their financial situation right now. So again, thanks for tuning in. Until the next time, guys, I hope you all stay financially astute. Bye, guys.